Brad Petovich for SkiSoutheast.com with some not so great news. We just had President's Day weekend, and while it was super warm, a lot of us had some pretty good skiing conditions because there was so much snow on the slope. But it was slushy, and at times it was spring-like skiing. And now this week, this is an amazing blowtorch kind of warm weather. This looks like what we had back in January now, going through at least this weekend. There are some hints, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There are some hints of at least some cooler weather, though it doesn't look prolonged. And I'm somewhat optimistic we're at least gonna have the chance for some northwest flow snow maybe by next weekend for the big Ski Southeast Summit. Keeping my fingers crossed. I'm going to be there up at Snowshoe. So let's get right into what's going on as we start Tuesday night into Wednesday. Here's a look at the system in the Gulf Coast states, and this is all rain, folks. This is not going to be any snow through Wednesday afternoon. A little weak front passes by, and once this front moves through, it actually warms up even more going into Thursday and Friday. We're talking temperatures probably approaching records in many locations here in the southeast. So this is not anything that would resemble winter weather. This feels like April, not even March. This is more like April. But this system right here does have some colder air behind it for the weekend, and there are maybe a few signs that we could see a little bit of northwest flow snow on the backside of it. I'll show you a quick look at at least the next 72 hours. There's nothing obviously with the snowfall here because this is all rain. But what I'm more interested in is behind the system that's heading our way going into next weekend. So here's the look at the long-range temperature pattern. You can see the warm air dominating the southeast, but watch what happens going into the weekend. That cold front swings through. So at least for maybe West Virginia, Maryland, this area up here actually looks like it could be cool at night. Saturday night into Sunday morning, and maybe even Sunday night into Monday morning for some possible snowmaking, and maybe a little bit of northwest flow snow on the backside of the low, which is going to be passing over the Midwest. But overall, this isn't anything to write home about because early next week, the blowtorch is back. Southwest winds crank up. But I'm only looking ahead to next weekend because obviously a lot of us will be up at Snowshoe getting ready to ski, and this is starting on Friday. Temperatures start to cool back down. Looks like a little dip in the jet stream. Not anything dramatic. This is not going to be a huge event, but at the very least it could be near average or slightly below average as we go into that weekend for the ski summit. So I think there's at least a chance we'll see some of that cooler weather at least kind of filter into the region. Kind of let me show you what this looks like with the models. This is the GFS model, and you can see this is this weekend. Going into the weekend, everything's well above average. These are temperature anomalies, how much above average we are. And you're talking 10, 15, 20 some degrees. But here we go into the weekend. We'll go through Friday, which is going to be the hottest day. Going into Saturday, some cooler weather tries to move in. So especially Saturday into Sunday, and you notice especially in the mountains, we're going to see some below average temperatures. So maybe a chance for a little bit of snow and some northwest flow snow at the very least. And then we look next week, it warms back up again. I mean, we just cannot shake these thaws. Really warm weather again, but then here comes another powerhouse front going into next Thursday and Friday. So now you're looking at Thursday morning here. And yeah, it's a pretty cool pattern starting to set up, especially in the mountains. So at least maybe a couple degrees below average, and kind of wedged in for Thursday night into Friday, and then going into Friday and Saturday, you see it's nothing big, but it's not the blowtorch. So, I mean, that's how bad this warm spell has been. We're actually excited for near average temperatures, and again, this is going into Saturday, and then you see the warm air trying to come back for the tail end of the weekend, but then Monday, another surge of cold air. So there's kind of some volatility in the long range, and granted, we're looking now 10, 14 days into the future here, so take it for what it is. It's really nothing I would write home about. But how much of a change could we see in early March? Well, March is a really crazy month in general, and even though it can be really warm, it can be really cold. The one thing about March in the southeast is it's very volatile. That means you get a lot of swings. You could have severe weather, winter weather, warm weather, cold weather, and sometimes all in one week. So that's something I would keep an eye on for March. And here's just a quick look as we go into the upcoming weekend as far as precipitation. This is all primarily rain, but look at the backside of this little system. This is Saturday. You see a little bit of snow showing up there up in West Virginia and Maryland. Brief little shot there. It's nothing big. That moves out. Another little wave comes through on Monday. So this is why there's at least some optimism, maybe some snow showers. Then next week it warms back up. You see the big surge of warm air. That's all rain. Ugh, yuck, a lot of heavy rain there. But then on the back side of this system, this is going into next weekend. This is what I'm talking about, getting ready for the Ski Southeast Summit, that there might be a little bit of snow on the backside of this system, and it looks at least cold enough for making snow and maintaining whatever base we have up there, and then going into that following Monday, maybe a little snow. So obviously this is nothing to write home about, but it's at least a glimmer of hope that maybe we could sync something up going to that first weekend of March. March is crazy. It's a gamble going skiing because you never know if you're going to have the really warm stuff, or like I've had in the past. I've been very lucky going to places like Snowshoe and even Beach Mountain, and even up to Wisp. You can get real lucky in March and even early April. One of these spring storms comes in and it's raining everywhere, but you go to the mountain and it's puking snow. Just because of that little bit of elevation. Just need some cold air aloft. So let's keep our fingers crossed. This weekend's a blowtorch, very warm conditions, but we're looking ahead to next week. I hope a lot of folks are heading up to Snowshoe, taking the whole family up there. It is going to be a great weekend regardless. They do a great job with their base up there, so I feel like we're going to have a good time skiing up there. And maybe by the end of the week, we'll start seeing that storm maybe develop a little bit colder side, and maybe we'll do a little natural stuff while we're up there. Hope you have a great midweek. I'll have an update going into the weekend. And as always, even though it's a warm winter, let's think snow. Please think snow. I like to see one more good blast.